I'm Walter Lawler. I'm a weather enthusiast since I was very young, and not any meteorological qualifications or anything, but just really like the study of weather and weather events and memorable weather events. So I'm going to start off with a weather event. My earliest memory of a major weather event, the big snowfall of January 1982 when I was 5 years old. Just the month preceding January 1982 was a very cold, frosty month. I remember it was the kind of the fashion at the time, or the habit that um, you'd put newspaper on the windshield of the car to prevent it freezing up. So anywhere you were going after 4 o'clock on a lot of those evenings in December 1981, there was newspaper in the car to prevent frost being on it when you were driving back home. So it was a cold month. The snowfall of 1982 itself, I remember on the 7th of January, it was a Thursday evening. Um, my dad came in from foddering cattle, that's feeding cattle, and he said it's spitting snow outside. And spitting snow is a phrase kind of that is used around my part of Southeast Leash, the hills of Southeast Leash. We're on the border with Carlow and Kilkenny, so um, but it's we weren't expecting what was to come over the next 2 days. And the 8th and 9th of January, it seemed like a 36 to 48 hour easterly blizzard. Um, with serious drifting, um, ditches not seen from the roads. We have an old two-story house back in my home place, uh, high building, and the snow had blown in such a fashion. It was like a huge cereal bowl with the snow reached up to the windows of the top story and above the windows. It was actually hitting the roof in places, and that's a really large volume of snow. My older brother, a year older, was let out in the snow, and he could play a little bit on that, but I wasn't let out, maybe for fear of losing me in a drift somewhere. So I had to watch from inside. Um, so the weather remained. Once the snowfall stopped, there was really hard frost set in, very severe frost. There was a lot of ice days at home where the temperature wouldn't get above zero at all. And this really kind of very severe weather for probably 10 days, maybe a little more, given the altitude we're at home. There were 8 days in Glasnevin weather station where the mean temperature was below zero. So that's combining your highest and your lowest temperature each day. So the mean was below zero. And as I said, ice days then in a lot of places as well. Now the altitude in my home place, our home house where I was born, is 300 meters above sea level. So you're getting over 1,000 feet, and the fields on the farm, the highest altitude would be 326 meters, and the highest kind of points in general about three-quarters of a mile away, and then maybe 2 miles away to Rossmore and the Laois Carlow border. That height is 338 meters. So that high altitude always contributes to us receiving getting more snow, and having where lower down we'll be having sleet, we'd be having snowfall. So and the temperatures would be that bit colder, maybe 2.5 degrees or so colder, due to that altitude. But 1982 was remarkable in that, and the lower ground received as much snowfall. Temperatures were so cold in that, and there was no real difference between the higher ground and the lower ground. The month itself, the last 10 days were relatively mild, and in the old Kilkenny weather station, the temperature was 4.5 Celsius, the mean temperature for the month, which was Just a bit below normal, really, for the 30-year climatic average. So, like the month, it wasn't a severe cold month. It wasn't like February 1986, which is a dry cold month, or it wasn't like January 2010 or December 2010. You didn't have that real extreme cold. So the cold was concentrated on a 10-day period from the 7th to the 17th of January 1982. The longevity of the snowfall at 10 days, it didn't compare with 1947, 1963. Like, say, 1947, you had snow in January, not an awful amount until the end of January 1947. Then you had large snowfalls in February, and some severe blizzards towards the end of the month, towards the 24th to the 28th, between those days. And early March, more blizzards. On the snowfall lasted until St. Patrick's Day in 47. So that was from really the end of January, or the until St. Patrick's Day, you had heavy snowfall. So it's a lot more than in 1982. And in 47, actually, in some the high ground and the higher altitudes, there were quarries where there was snow still in May and even later recorded in some places where just so much compacted snow fell. So that was an exceptional year, 47. 1963 was similar. You started off with the cold hitting in and around St. Stephen's Day, 1962. And you had a lot of snowfalls, January, February. It lingered on until around the 4th or 5th of March. I think the thaw came in 63. So that was a longer duration, far longer duration than 1982 of snowfall. There's other months like February 1895, going back further, where you probably had longer um, duration with snowfall on the ground as well. So that's my little chat on my first real weather memory, the big snowfall of 1982 in Ireland and in southeast Laois and my part of Leinster. And I might do a few more little weather memory updates. Thank you.